Hi there, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your full moon reading for March 12th. So, of course, energy permeates, right? And especially so during the full moon, that energy is super strong. So it may extend, right, a few days before or a few days after, all right? Nonetheless, the full moon is a time where the moon's energies are at their peak, okay? Peak energy flow, very strong fire energy that's being channeled through. So it's a great time. It's a great time to assess, to kind of bring an awareness about how are we channeling that fire energy, right? During the full moon, am I channeling my fire energy in a positive way, right? How am I expressing that more dynamic, creative side to myself? Is it coming out, right, in a way that I align with, that I feel is helping me create and manifest, right? The moon cycle being very much a cycle of manifestation in and of itself. So this full moon is in the sign of Virgo, service-oriented sign, earth sign. So there's a focus, right, on the give and the take in a situation. Absolutely. In terms of either service or relationships, partnerships, whatever it may be. So now the full moon, right, brings about a sort of clarity each time that it manifests in a month. So the clarity that it brings, the ultimate clarity that it brings, relates to its corresponding new moon 6 months prior. So think back 6 months, right, to what you may have been ruminating on, right? Really thinking about, focused on bringing into manifestation and fruition, right? And whatever that sort of nucleus of intention was for you at that time, you'll see that at this full moon today and the few days surrounding it, we're bringing sort of a final culmination to that macro manifestation cycle, if that makes sense, all right? Now, aside from that, right, in a more micro sense, the full moon brings about a certain level of illumination, of clarity, as it regards the manifestation cycle of the month itself. So we had a new moon earlier this month, I believe actually at the tail end of February. And so whatever this period for you now is at the full moon will be bringing a clarity as it regards a situation that that was sort of initiated around the time of the new moon of late February, early March. Okay, so very exciting. I know that a lot of signs have been going through a period of absolute uprooting, transformation. The readings of the last few months, and particularly March, have been a whirlwind, to say the least, all right? Nonetheless, let's see how these energies are peaking here for you all. And hey, Aries.
Hi.
Have a special guest here.
And Aries.
Yeah, and Aries. She's my sister. She's visiting, so I thought, hey, we would do a little spin-off reading here together.
Spinning it off, we are.
Yep.
And out hopped
the
several.
Fool. First and foremost, the Fool. My goodness, what a way to start the full moon, right? Just on a brand new journey. Just opening your eyes to this new direction that you want to take, it seems, with your life and personal transformation. And following that, the 10 of Cups upright. How are you feeling about that?
Bursting with creativity. And we have the Daughter of Pentacles, right? Mm-hmm. And the Father.
Two People Pentacle cards, sandwiching this trio.
So some kind of creative stability.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing.
Absolutely. Fusion between fire and earth.
That's
Finding.
What I like.
Yep, she knows it. She's super fiery, super Aries.
What do I do with all that fire?
Right?
It's a big question, right?
That is the big question with the Two of Wands, actually, right? That speaks to the need to channel and decide exactly how are we going to channel this fire energy in such a way where we feel stable and grounded while also moving forward dynamically, spontaneously, right? So these
with intention, right?
With intention.
With
exactly.
precision, not just some kind of boom!
Right.
Action has been taken.
Right, exactly.
Meaningful action.
With purpose.
Right.
That means a lot to you, in particular, as it regards your path forward. Right? This is a deeply transformational, spiritual energy, even. So, yeah, like you said, it's not just a frivolous, haphazard sort of transformation that's taking place.
I think I'm good.
Gonna fan it out? Okay.
I'm gonna pick a few cards here from my fan. I've never done that before.
Okay, do that. Yeah.
Actually, why don't you pick a few cards?
Yeah, are you feeling that?
Yeah. Ultra Collab.
Yes. This one's calling me strongly. This one is also calling me strongly. I want to pull a third, fourth, and a fifth. Wow.
Okay.
Aries.
Lots of different things going on.
Yeah, but a new beginning. Right. Absolutely a new beginning. You pulled the Ace of Cups. Emotional renewal. But you know what? I will say this, and you finalize a sentiment on this as well. I'm feeling that whatever this emotional renewal is, whatever this new stage and step that's taken, speaks to your emotional satisfaction, but in a way that is self-reliant, that is independent, right? Whereby you really seek out this emotional renewal in an independent way.
Right, and complementary to that, we have the Three of Cups in reverse, right? So I'm kind of seeing like the upturning of reliance on others.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
And of the kind of like closey friendship is now kind of like not the point right now, right? It's about the Fool.
It's about the Fool.
On the journey.
Taking that first step.
But what I also see interesting, okay, so a lot of cards in reverse here. So we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse, right? Themes of control, right?
Totally, yeah.
Trying to control your environment, right? Control your sense of stability, so somewhat in an artificial way, right?
Yep.
I kind of get the feeling of like beware of that in this, because look, it's only 4, it's not that many, but it's the beginning, right? And as you kind of forge upon this new path, just be careful of trying to gain control and gain your bearings too soon, in a way. You know, kind of like be free to float.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Daughter of Swords, you know, is floating out there. It's not like the Son of Swords where she's diving.
Right.
It's kind of this careful, intuitive kind of space where it's reflective, right?
Reflective.
She's looking at the Ace of Cups. Right. These two are just kind of hand in hand right there. So I really see that everything is leading to emotional renewal here, right?
Yes.
In our spread.
This is the center.
We also have kind of wedged in between the Three of Cups and the Four of Pentacles, the Son of Pentacles in reverse, right? The Son of Pentacles here, I was talking about this card today, actually. It can refer to an individual. It can refer to maybe your own state of mind, right? I see someone who's not really looking at the bright side here, but who has good intention. But is looking down. Like, hello, your intuition is the moon, the fiery crescent moon at the top there, right?
Right.
And you have that stability in your intuition. But where are you looking, Earth animal?
Right.
Right?
Right.
You're looking... This is a very Virgo vibe.
Interesting.
Of kind of like looking at the practical, right? Looking at what's in front of you.
Yes.
Right?
Wow. That's
but in reality, you have the truth in your intuition. But it's in reverse. So do you know what I'm getting? Is that there is an kind of upheaval of these old energies, right? Right? Because it's a time for, the daughter sort. So decision making, right? Intellectual reasoning, but with the intuitive backdrop of that, right?
Totally.
It's not just some, manifestation of like anxiety, negative thought patterns. It's more of working from your intuition, right? Working towards emotional renewal. Okay? Working away from codependent relationships.
Yeah.
That involve your emotions.
Right.
That utilize, that use, okay, that, I don't want to say waste, but you're gonna be expending your fire energy. Look at the red in this, right? We have the sun. We have the 3 birds looking at the sun.
It's so passive, right? It's the acknowledgement of fire from a distance.
Right.
Rather than, being hands-on with it.
Right?
Yeah.
Totally, right? And
it's almost like this. It's almost like this. It's like when you see the Son of Pentacles and the 3 of Cups, both in reverse looking at each other, right? Like she said, it's sort of like the uprooting, right, of a sort of perspective, a perception of stability, right? In a way, like, totally, I agree with that this, right, is sort of a symbol of the embodiment of both principles, spirituality, intuition, and that guiding light forward that lights the path towards achieving stability, right? So your path to stability first is derived from a place that's very deep to you, right? That's guided from within rather than from without. But it seems that in the past, perhaps there was somewhat of a focus on the tangible, material environment, even, right? That shapes what makes us feel stable, and that could have been, right, sort of circumstantial for you in the past, where you felt, hey, right, like I technically am in this circle group with a certain group of people who I feel technically connected to, comfortable with, right? Sort of the status quo. There's a status quo vibe here.
And that old energy is just flushing out the door.
Totally.
Down the toilet.
The Fool.
It's time for the Fool. I can't tell you how many times I've seen the Fool come up in my personal spreads, but
in reverse, right? Not yet upturned.
Right, yeah.
It was always like, the desire was there, right? You had the vision of it. And I remember that Aries did get this theme in general. It was kind of, right, like the, you knew, right, that this was your aspiration. Okay, the point of culmination of this grand transformational cycle that you guys have been through, right? But the action and the direction, the directive focus on it in a very honest, open way, right, has just come about, I feel, right? You're just stepping into that, being ready to look head on at this emotional satisfaction that is enabled,
authentic.
That is authentic and enabled by way of
it's connected. It's connected to the journey.
Yes,
but your journey is the Fool.
Yes, exactly. Right. Wow.
And I just returned our deck here.
Ace of Swords.
Ace of Swords.
2 aces, Aries. 2 aces.
So we've got We've
got a low light.
A low light.
Interesting.
Interesting, because I was, just about to talk about the decision, right? News, the delivery of news,
which may come in a softer sort of form of delivery, perhaps.
Right. I always see some sort of like restriction of some sort with the Ace of Swords, right? We have this figure 8. It almost looks like a snake. wrapped around the sword. And I always think of the Son of Wands, right? The charmer wrapped around its wand that it's kind of wielding. But now it's like we have the sword, which is in command of that snake. I don't know, I think of a snake because I see the scales and and it's almost like there's this kind of like creative potential that's behind this, right? We see the colorful nature, right? So it's a matter of at some point, I think there are different ways that you could look at it, but one way is that when the sword is wielded, that this kind of snake is going to break loose. That creative potential related to fire energy, potentially. But I do feel that, this is an ace. It's the beginning. It's not a mature energy. And it's like you're getting your feet wet, you just got new shoes, and you're seeing if you can fit into them, right? But this is interesting because we also have the Daughter of Swords, right? I almost see it as like the Daughter of Swords in the spread is kind of like the energy that we're moving into, right? But the reality of the situation is it may not be the smoothest transition moving into this intellectual, but maybe also emotional maturity that we are not necessarily used to, right? We're not maybe used to having command over our air side, over the air energy.
Interesting, right? Which depends for everyone, right? Like depending on what your planets are in, what signs they're in, where they're placed in your chart, it all contributes to your overall very unique energetic composition. But nonetheless, everyone has every element to some degree in their energetic composition. But I agree that it absolutely seems as if, when you look at these two cards together, which is their orientation as they fell out in the spread, it's like the Daughter of Swords is being pushed onto stage, right? It's almost like she's being bumped forward to take on this, to wield her intellectual faculties in a more responsible, in a more contained, in a more wise way, that it's almost like, right, by way of this driving force, this desire to reinvent herself in some way, or himself or themselves, to achieve ultimate self-derived emotional satisfaction.
And I might also add that this Ace of Swords, right? Look how big this sword is. It's almost like kind of unrealistic. And this is how you might feel confronting this air energy that you feel like you have to confront now that maybe you've been avoiding for a while, right? Before you may have let your swords kind of run loose, right?
Yeah.
Lots of swords. I don't know. I personally have dealt with that. But as we embark on this new path of the Fool, right? It's about like I said, getting our feet wet, seeing how we fit into these new shoes, right? And growing comfortable with that.
Right.
So...
Right. But I think ultimately, too, right, there's this decision in your gut, right, that you feel compelled to make that is almost like, it's almost like you cannot, it's like so clear that this is the way that you need to move forward, that, it's almost like you're being pushed on stage, that's it, you have to perform, right? You signed up for this play that you are to act in a way, right? And so now is the time to do that.
And I was just kind of lifting my deck a little bit, and I kind of outslipped this guy, which is kind of what I was just talking about, right? Seven of Swords, right? This kind of hoarding quality, quiet knowing, not following your intuition, not following your path as the Fool, right? Although you may know deep inside about that, but we're done with that in this spread, right? I don't see any of that kind of like old petty energy in this, right?
Not at all.
It's about new beginnings.
Yeah,
Aries.
absolute renewal. Absolute renewal on many fronts.
So right
on many fronts. Yeah.
Right, a very diverse kind of renewal, right?
Totally, and right, where we're seeing the reconfiguration of the intellectual mind and how we think and how we let our thoughts work for us versus against us, rather, right? Some wordplay there, but and in addition to that, right, the reestablishment and also the configuration of how we even perceive emotional satisfaction. What makes us happy? Right? Because you could be happy and you could be happy. You could be really soul satisfaction happy rather than comfortable, right? Complacent. Three's company, right? Going to the same place, right? I just with this card, I always think of what is it? Those like I don't know. I'm thinking of like a cowboy movie where there are those three cowboys and they all go to the same saloon at the same time, right? And
I want to show you which three cards were in reverse here. Not to cut you off.
Classic Aries moment. No, I'm kidding. See, I'm a Pisces. She's an Aries. We complement each other, but we have our moments. We have our moments. Yeah. So okay,
sorry,
continue.
I got a little excited
That's
about
okay.
because I feel like this is a true. I was just dancing outside. I was dancing outside with my headphones, and I saw the neighbor, and it was a little awkward. But
hey,
nevertheless,
it's all about new beginnings.
It's about
right?
It's about that. It's about my
that align with your truth.
So I just want to, right? So I just keep seeing this, out with this Four of Pentacles of trying to artificially manipulate your relationship with your surroundings.
Yes.
Out with the kind of Son of Pentacles attitude of, you have that. The Son of Pentacles is all about, that kind of, inner loyalty, devotion, good intentions, right? But, the execution of that is not always, with the best results. I think it's about, kind of getting in touch with that intuitive side again. That is deep within you. And as we've talked about, out with the saloon.
Yeah, out with the
friendship,
saloon,
right? And two, the Daughter of Swords and the Ace of Cups.
Mm-hmm,
so,
and of course, these energies will always depend, right? Where they show up in a certain spread, and sometimes, a Son of Pentacles approach can be helpful, can be useful, right? It has its place and its time, absolutely. Totally. But I feel that, and especially given the energies of Aries as of late, within the past few months, right? This transformation very much so there's been a redefinition of what makes you feel stable, right? What classifies for you a sense of groundedness and stability. And it's about really, right, eliciting, bringing out that fire from within you, that creative potential, and fusing that with the propensity to feel stable. Okay, so there's a rebalancing. Absolutely that's taking place. And if we jump over here to these cards,
which you pulled yourself.
Yeah, which I pulled these out when I was meditating on your sign Aries. We pulled the 10 of Cups, prominently placed in the middle between these other four outliers here, we'll call them. The Father of Pentacles, Two of Wands in reverse, Emperor in reverse, and the Daughter of Pentacles upright. So if we take a look at those cards, we have two very prominent sort of characters of similar nature, sandwiching the spread, looking over at these three cards. So this is the main event. This is the main show that's taking place here. And it's interesting. It's interesting because the Emperor, and the Wands card have a similar sort of tree-like configuration on them, right? Well, the Emperor is a tree depicted in this spread. And the Two of Wands kind of, right, is pointing to an apex, which makes it look somewhat like a tree. So, what I'm getting here, Aries, is that, and I will also say this, the Emperor is Aries' card. It is Aries' card in the Major Arcana deck. So, it is the fusion of fire and earth. That's how I'm feeling it strongly for you guys here as well. Nonetheless, I'm feeling that it's about a period of determining how we want to channel our fire energy in a very directive way, in a very conscious way, as you said earlier, right? Being very meticulous and conscious of how we're stepping, one foot in front of the other. We want to be really aware of what we're creating, what we want to create as we really move forward on a clean slate, right? It's like, now's the time. I've de-weeded. I've done the de-weeding of my garden, so to speak, and now my soil is ready for planting. What do I want to plant, right? What do I want this tree to look like? And so,
I might add that the Two
yes.
of Wands, right? It almost looks like the blueprint with this
Yes.
creative background of, right, of a tree, right?
Yes.
So I think this really speaks to the nature of having this clean slate and realizing that you have the power to actualize
absolutely
that. And
you're the creator of it, right? It's like you are. This is like the skeleton of this tree that you want to build, and I think the realization is now there that this is what you want to move towards. You want to step into your own Aries. This is your own card, right? You're now like, I want to live authentically, right? I want to channel all my fire energy in a way that is channeled independently. I'm feeling really independent and really creatively, absolutely, with the Ten of Cups. Right? The expression of our emotions and even the buildup of emotions that we've experienced from memories over time, I'm feeling are sort of a part of this new transformation and creative process for you.
And I really see as well with the Ten of Cups here, reflections, right? Reflections not only in the sense of like water is reflective, but you might be utilizing your past experiences, maybe a different side of yourself, instead of kind of hushing it away and saying, you don't belong here on this new path that I'm embarking upon, but saying, hey, like, we're going to use that. We're going to use that in this reflective, creative process.
Absolutely.
But I also see with that, right, reflection inward, right? Independence. This is one circle of cups, right? I mean, it may have two halves, but ultimately, this is a unified kind of reflections going inward, right, onto
the two
each
halves
other.
Of yourself. The two halves of yourself coming together.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that I mean, it's a beautiful card, and I think it can speak to you in the sense independence, right? Like looking within, utilizing your own experiences, your past selves, maybe
in a positive way,
right?
Like looking at them,
productive.
Yeah, because this is very positive. Right? It's like she's very enchanted by the thought of this new beginning, right? Of emotional renewal, and maybe she understands, right, that this new beginning will come forward by way of the synthesis and the acceptance and the making of peace with all of the emotions that have colored your past, right? The memories that you've lived through somehow are contributing to your creative production in this new stage in your life. So it's kind of like, right, everything you've experienced, it wasn't a waste, right? All of these experiences of this situation, right, that you learned a great deal from, I'm feeling, right? A great deal. So you're bringing everything together. You're assimilating all of the Lego blocks, the pieces that contributed to this new beginning for you, and you're now channeling them, right? You're transmuting that energy in a creative, dynamic, and positive way that's constructive.
You know, and Aries, I'm feeling that there might at times be a sense of like feeling overwhelmed by all this color in your spread, or in general. It's almost like, wow, what do I do with that? What do I do with all that color, right?
With all this fire. I know I have this fire, right?
And that creative potential, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think what it comes down to, right, is this little one that popped out, is turning back to the journey, right? Kind of the inward turn of this new path, whatever it may be that you're embarking upon, or maybe you just realized existed.
Yes. And I like that, because that, and I resonate with that a lot, because it's about, sometimes we get overwhelmed. We think, oh my gosh, right, I can move forward with this project in this way or in that way, or, we work like backwards almost, right? Like we think, oh, these are all of the different ways we can do something. But then we almost forget, like, why are we doing this and what are we exactly trying to achieve, right? So it's like almost like coming down, funneling back down to the purpose, right?
And the simplicity of that. And the
simplicity, starting small.
At the core.
Yes, I told Sagittarius this as well for their full moon reading, right? To when you feel overwhelmed, right, with creative options, even alternatives on how you want to even define yourself as a being, and reestablish your identity with it, as it regards your environment in some way, less is better sometimes. And I feel absolutely in this case. Okay. But I will say this as well. Sandwiching again, right? This sort of focus on a dynamic creative process that you seem to be working through right now. Okay, ruminating on. Is the sandwiching, right? The bracketing of these very earthly, stable energies. And they're people cards, right? Father of Pentacles, Daughter of Pentacles. So there's a lot of concentration on the performance of these three energies. Kind of, like, it's almost like
it's like a performance.
What's that?
You said it's like a performance?
It's like a performance, yes.
And the Ten of Pentacles I was going to say before, Ten of Cups, looks like stage lights, right? We have all the different colors, right? Coming from different parts of the stage.
Yes.
This is a performance.
Yes. This is a performance.
Aries.
Yeah. Well, you're performing right now, so this is so a performance for you on the full moon.
Woo!
Look, that's really true. Because, also the Daughter of Swords, right? I got that feeling of almost she's being, like, pushed, inched on stage.
It's like, whoa!
And the lights behind her are kind of like theater lights when you're on a stage and you're performing a play. And it's almost like, Ace of Cups. And she's looking over the Ace of Cups. So, absolutely, I'm feeling like this is a performance. And there's a lot of, you feel that this is a prominent sort of preoccupation in your mind right now, perhaps, right? Where it's like, I have all this creative energy. You're awakening to this potential inside of you, right? I have all this fire energy. How do I want to wield it, right? And it's almost like the Father of Pentacles and the Daughter of Pentacles are looking over at this interaction of energies, right? Kind of like once you, right, assimilate and you fine-tune and you clarify the path that you want to move forward on in a creative way, stability will follow, right?
And I just noticed something, right, that has to do with maturity and age, I might say. I don't really know how to put that, but we have a contrast, a juxtaposition.
Yes.
The Father of Pentacles is adjacent to the Two of Wands, right, which was the skeleton of the tree. We have a very mature card looking at the skeleton, right? And then we have the Daughter of Pentacles looking over at the Empress, right?
Wow, very interesting.
Which is, the Empress is kind of the mature, actualized...
Emperor.
Sorry.
Emperor.
The Emperor is the actualized form of the tree that we were talking about building.
Right.
So, I mean, what that could mean is that there's kind of like a change of perspective, right? Like, you are starting to see things differently than you might have, right? The mature Father of Pentacles, who's very grounded, very sure of himself, very experienced and wise, is now starting to kind of look at the skeleton, right? And say, wow, like, I have this blank slate to work with. Right? I've never been in that position before. Right.
I
thought, right?
Yes.
And then we have the Daughter of Pentacles, who's younger, maybe, less experienced, but still has that inner wisdom.
Yep.
Looking over at the Emperor, seeing that vision for what she can build, right?
Right.
So there's kind of like a switching of traditional pairings, I would say.
Almost like conventionalism versus like the breaking of boundaries in your mind.
Right, totally.
Of what you can create, right? It's almost like, I have to be like this to this caliber, right? Of this caliber or understanding or technical status in order to do this. And these energies are absolutely confounding that, right? It's like, you don't need to be like, right? That's really interesting. And you have the Son of Pentacles and the Daughter of Pentacles on vastly opposite sides of the spread. The Son of Pentacles in reverse, the Daughter of Pentacles upright. And I think it goes back to your theme that you mentioned, right? Regarding this sort of shift in perception, right? Of how we view stability. Right. Is it more a process of greater sort of attunement to our creativity, right? Or is it just, driven, calculated, focused, perhaps not necessarily in this case, as I'm feeling it, especially tapping into your emotions and your creativity, right? So,
very interesting. I feel like the Son of Pentacles is, because we did do kind of two separate spreads here, that the Son of Pentacles is really like in this situation here, and the daughter is...
It's almost like this. You have two daughters, too, right? There's a shift. There's a shifting over to a softer sort of... And even the Father of Pentacles is like looking over at the Two of Wands, like, right? It's like awkward a little bit.
It is. It's awkward. It's a bit like, this is not my status to be...
Yeah, like right? It's like...
I'm overqualified for this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not supposed to be, working out the blueprint or the skeleton for this.
Yeah, right.
I already have my Emperor. So...
Yeah. But he's beckoned, right? He's beckoned to kind of be open to this whole process. He's looking over it at all. And the Daughter of Pentacles, right, has this rainbow up ahead of her, looming up ahead, that speaks to this Ten of Cups, right? Focusing on the creative journey ahead, upon which she knows, right, that she will achieve ultimate stability, right? But she's enchanted by the possibility of what she can create dynamically along that path. Okay, so again, fusion between earth, stability, and fire, dynamic, passion, and drive. Beautiful. Beautiful.
It almost seems like the point of this spread is interesting because it seems like the point isn't, I'll put it like that, about wands, really, or fire, or just about fire here. We're really seeing, like, Aries, the path, right? What is going to be the kind of, like, what's involved in this new process of the Fool's Journey?
Yes.
And it's going to have to do with maybe a rebalancing of your other elements, right? But all with this bent on them of fire, right? Which is driving this process potentially.
Yeah.
And I would say that's so, the emotional renewal here is really key. And this shifting of stability through the earth element is really key.
Yeah, I'm so happy to see this come through for you guys, Aries, because I remember the last moon cycle. I believe it was the first quarter moon video where there was this theme of, you were kind of split, right? You were split. You're torn between how to really define and pursue a sense of stability. Is it through things? Is it through accumulation? Is it in a tangible, material, physical way? Or is it by way of my inborn sense of stability? Just my stability even along my path, right? The security and the stability that I have, just by knowing that I'm moving down a path in which I am aligned with my path. Okay, so it's a reshifting, a recalibration of our perception of stability that I feel has come to fruition for you, Aries. I'm loving this. Beautiful, right?
Truly.
So, as a recap, it seems that there is an overriding assimilation of all the parts of your being that is accumulating to this sort of pinnacle of grand transformation of self. Okay, and one that is foreshadowing and leading you to step into your ultimate potential as a creator who feels stable, who feels secure and successful, but ultimately also has the room to wield its fire, its dynamism, its spontaneity, its truth.
Exactly.
Right? So
there's also... If I may add.
Of course.
Because we have these two separate spreads, and then we have the Fool at the top, and the Fool is pointed towards the spread that has the Father of Pentacles with the Ten of Cups in the center.
Lots of focus here.
So the focus is really on, like, what's the forward direction? Oh, it's that. Okay. But it's not so much, I would say, the procedural aspect of the upturning of, a false sense of stability and codependent relationships potentially. So it's really, the focus is in the forward direction, right? The fool is looking to the right, and the focus is on that really beautiful, like, wielding of this new energy, shaking things up. Is what I'm feeling. It's just like a switching these perspectives.
Yep.
And overturning what no longer like serves you, and you know that,
and you know it, and you've known it, and you've known it.
You have known it.
It's like, you know what it's kind of like. It's like the salt shaker, where if heat reaches the salt inside of the salt shaker, it then becomes hard and condensed, and then when you want to use it again, you have to shake it vigorously until all of the blocks of salt that were hardened and condensed then kind of dissipate and loosen up. It's like that. That's what I'm feeling here, right? It's almost like you're shaking up, right? Your salt and your spice, really, your spice, right? To flavor this new beginning that the fool is looking over at.
See, what lies ahead, I'm saying, it's gonna have your own flavor to it.
Totally,
right?
yes.
Think about all of the combinations of these two sides, right?
Right, that's true.
It's just like it's so personalized.
Yeah, it's true, It's true. Yeah, because they're combining. They're almost making like aspects to each other.
Right.
The 4 cups the 5 cups on the top, the 5 on the bottom. So it's almost like there's this interaction even within the synapses of your mind that are happening. Right?
Right.
That is new for you. And you're seeing and you're regarding your emotions and your past experiences in a way that is enchanting and exciting, right? Making meaning of them, making the connections in a positive way that is productive. So, beautiful. Well, do you have any final sentiments?
I'm just happy to see this spread, to be honest.
We all are. We all have Aries somewhere in our chart, right?
My little tourmaline laughed with us and fell over.
It gave us a giggle.
Shook the table. Right. So,
speaking of detox, right? Tourmaline is.
Speaking of detox.
So as you move forward on this journey, this moving forward
is as we move forward, right? It's kind of like the fool's looking forward, but don't forget about these old energies that we need to be aware of.
That we may need to clear out, right? And transmute those energies and place them somewhere that is more constructive and positive, right? So, beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for doing this. It was fun, and I hope it was helpful for you all Rams out there. And until then, enjoy your full moon. Celebrate. Moonbathe.
Go moonbathe. Go listen to music.
Right? Some disco. Get some disco going. We were dancing to disco under the moonlight.
Listen to Justice. Audio. Video. Disco. If it's not too late for that. No, it's not too late.
It's never too late. On a full moon?
Can it ever be too late for disco?
No, it can never be too late.
Disco. It's like...
Get your rollerblades on and just...
rollerblade.
Roller away.
Roller away. Don't tell them the story about... God. Stop sign.
We should end it there,
We should end it.
Before it, okay. Thank you, Aries,
Thank you so much.
Enjoy your full moon.
Your fool's journey.
Yes, your fool's journey. It's exciting, enchanting, and I will be back with you guys soon with your April reading in a few days, so stay tuned for that. And until then, enjoy these next few days and basking in the light of the moon. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.